All right, everybody. It's been a hot minute since I made a video. I think it's been like 2 or 3 weeks. But one thing I've wanted to make a video on for a long time now, has been things that will get you in trouble in the Air Force or the military in general that you wouldn't think would get you in as much trouble as they would. Like little things that happen all the time on the civilian side of things and aren't as big of a deal, but for some reason or another are a huge deal in the Air Force. So I'm headed out to PT right now. Every other week we have like a modified day where we can come in a little bit later, and today they decided to start out with PT. If you're ever wondering what I eat before I work out, Pop-Tarts and flavored water. That's why I don't score 90s on my PT test. Starting with that, something that'll get you in a lot more trouble than you'd think is failing your PT test. So that is like one of the biggest scares across the board. Like people who are super healthy, super fit, they still get nervous before their PT test. And I was talking to people at work about it, and they all agree, like everybody just gets so nervous because if you fail, there's a lot of repercussions. So initially, if you fail your first PT test, this will vary by squadron and the commander, but typically what happens is it's an LOC, it's a letter of counseling, and you get put into a remedial fitness program. Ours, I think, meets 5 times a week or something like that, and it's mandatory. And you do that usually, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I believe you have 60 days to retest, something like that. There's a set number of days, and you have to retest within that window. So they try to get you as fit as possible so you can pass your retake. Because if you fail your retake, that's typically an LOR, letter of reprimand. For us, it's in front of our commander, so it's kind of one of those things you don't aspire to achieve. A number of other little things could happen as well. They could restrict you on other privileges you might have. A guy in my flight just failed the second PT test, and they revoked his re-enlistment, so he can't re-enlist at the end of this contract. So that's obviously command dependent. Typically your third one is a loss of stripe, and fourth one you could get the boot. So the PT test is taken very seriously, and an easy way not to have to worry about it is just to continuously work out. I always score in the 80s. Typically, I'm not exactly a standout athlete, but it's very passable if you just do a little bit of working out every week. And I've done a video a little bit on BMT PT, but during BMT PT, you'll do usually 3 days of cardio, 3 days of some kind of isometric workout, whether that's like squats and push-ups and sit-ups and stuff like that. If you can keep up that schedule for yourself, you'll be fine. There's no reason why you shouldn't pass that PT test. So PT test, pass it. It makes your life a whole lot easier. Also, if you fail a PT test, say goodbye to any TDYs or deployments or anything like that until you pass your next one. And even if you do pass your next one, you've got that derogatory remark in your folder. So another thing that'll get you in a lot more trouble than you'd think is missing an appointment. And I've heard this is also big across all the other branches. So let's say you have a dental appointment and you miss it. Big deal, right? Like they'll just reschedule. Unfortunately, it's not that easy. Typically what will happen is your supervisor, sometimes your first sergeant, will get notified immediately that you missed an appointment. And usually if you miss one, again, it depends on how you are too as a person overall. Have you gotten in a lot of trouble before? But typically it's just a verbal, like, hey, don't miss another one. After that, they could push paperwork, which is super unfortunate. Another thing that's pretty obvious is being late. Being late to work, being late to a briefing, being late to anything in general is actually kind of a big deal, especially if it's like repetitive behavior. Everybody understands that every now and then you're going to be late. I think I mentioned this in another video too at some point, but sleeping in by accident, like missing an alarm, it happens to everybody. It's happened to me before once here too. The biggest thing is communication. If you call ahead and let them know what happened, especially if it's the first or second time, I would venture to say you're going to be safe, because they understand. I mean, they're also people. So, but the worst thing you can do is oversleep, not tell anybody, and show up 2 hours after your shift started, and everyone's trying to figure out where the heck you are. That's how I saw another airman get paperwork. Those are the main big ones I can think of. I think, just a side note, don't fall asleep. That's another. I mean, that's pretty obvious. it gets so ingrained in you during basic training that it's kind of second nature now. Oh, and another thing, don't lie. Lying sucks. That'll definitely get you. But those are the big things I can think of. Let me know if you have any questions. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.